Hi, it's me, Sherri from Stampin' Sharp by Sherri Borger. If you are on YouTube, that's how you would get me. I have been hitting the wrong button. I've been recording this. This will be my third time, so I hope I do this right. I have the Paper Pumpkin Alternatives from the 2023 May Exploring in Color. Not everyone was able to make it to my Zoom, so this is for those that could not make it and are have the kit, the supplies already. This will help them to kind of navigate. It's pretty, when you go through, if you read the instructions, it explains itself, but sometimes it's easier just to see as well. There were 3 cards in the kit. Each card had 2 sides to them, like this. So it was a full scene on the entire front and back of the card. So I capitalized on that, and I cut them all up. And a lot of these ideas are already out there from other demonstrators. I'm putting a bunch of what I've seen from other ones all together. I'm going to go through what I did so you can see them. The first one here is we're going to go through the ones that had the little teepee tent in it. And let me get to them. Right over here. What I did was I cut it in, when I cut it in half, the teepee side, or the tent side, I kept as one for a card. I put on Mary Malone was my card base, then I used Daffodil Delight, and I also cut, I used Daffodil Delight and I cut this and made it big enough for this saying that's in the kit. You have 4 sayings and 3 shapes, all right? So I used ribbon that went close, was close to the red color, the Mary Malone color. That's what I did on this one. I did run this side through a folder like this. This folder here it had tree branches in it. And what I did was I took sandpaper and kind of roughed it up. So I can't remember if I did for the ones I sent out in with the cut supplies, if I did rough it up or not. If it's not roughed up, take a nail file, or if you do have sandpaper on a block, that's what I did. And I just kind of gave it, you could see a little bit of the shape that way. That's what I did with that. Okay, so for the second side, or the second half, I made it into 2 cards, and you will see on your sheet. So it's not a stretch, they're both the same. The only thing different is that they have different saying, and I used, I kind of put the colors a little differently on the actual shapes. And I used different sayings. This one is part of the kit. This one is one from my library. I used twine on both of them. I just wrapped it around my finger 3 times. And then this paper, this copper, I used the copper clay paper, which is part of the new set of colors that they have with Stampin' Up. And I just kept manipulating the paper. I used a bone folder, and I kept going and taking the paper and going back and forth and kind of getting it a real good curve to it. I used my Stampin' Block as well and roughed up the edge, so I was able to peel that back a little bit and then kind of rough it up a little bit. You don't have to, but if you kind of want an old, look to it, I tried to make it kind of a Western look, is what I was going for. So you do that, and then you're going to kind of assemble everything. You have, you're going to cut down your card base, and I put in the instructions what you cut it down to. And then here's a little boho blue behind it. You're going to cut it like 4x1, and you're going to tuck it, just kind of tape it behind, and then you use adhesive, and everything's just kind of flat to the surface. You can use dimensionals for your shapes and for the saying. Okay, so that's those 2 cards. So you've got 3 cards with that first one. Okay, so the next card, I made 3 cards as well, and I'm calling it the canoe card, and that's just because the one side of the card has the canoe, which is here, and I thought I had a full card here. Okay, so I'm going to go over what I did with this side first. I took this side and I'm going to, I cut that in half, and I made 2 cards with it, and it's using basically the same things that I used with the card before. I took and instead of cutting out each individual shape, I have them already on squares. So this one is white with the boho blue. This one is vanilla with the copper color, as you see. Okay, so I flipped over the card base and the cut cardstock. I flipped it over, and then I taped the 2 behind. I taped them together so that way you would have some stability. Turned it over, and then on this particular one you have your 3 squares already on there. Then you're going to take your twine, wrap it around, and then once you've got that wrapped around, you're going to put it on top of your white cardstock, which I again put through a folder just to give it a little bit of a shape, a little bit of dimension to your card. And then you're going to put it on flat to the surface on your paper, and I did use the copper paper on that one. And that's that half. This one here is a, oh, and then Adventure, that's from your stamp. And I used, I covered up the part of the stamp I wasn't going to use, and then I put the rest of it on the bottom of this. This other one is from a stamp. It's a partial of it as well, and I just like the idea of the less traveled idea, because this kind of makes you think of traveling and also camping or hiking or whatever you want to call it. And then I put a little bit of twine behind it. I put it on a boho blue base, and then on top of the card base itself I used just a craft paper. So that was that one. Now let's go to the other side, the canoe side right here. And I made it into this. I made it into an easel card. So that actually comes from a different card, a stamp set altogether with a with this oh, there it is, with this die cut. It's this Crafting With You. It has this easel in there, and so what you're able to do is as you can see, you get just the border of the easel, and the inside is blank. So it when you put it on like white paper or whatever, it's just gonna show, white behind it. So then you have your die cut right here for it. this is what I did. I liked the blue. I wanted to bring it out. So I have white card base. I found a blue designer series paper. Then I put white again here, and I did run it through another folder just to kind of give it a little bit of rippling. I put the easel, I stamped the easel on white, and I cut it out. And then you have, it actually comes blank. There's nothing in there. But then here, you see this scene? So this scenery is from the card, okay? This actually is from a secondary card. There's a secondary set with this particular kit. And I'm not sure. Here we go. Was Exploring in Colors Cards and Envelopes. And that's what I got. There's really, it doesn't show you much other than blue. But it is cards that also go along with it, with the idea and the theme. So I followed along with another demonstrator that actually showed she showed how to do this. And she did use this card from that kit, our supplementary set. And that's what she cut around with the die cut. She took the die cut and put it around and cut it. But what you want to do first is you do want to stamp around there. So you're going to stamp it and get what I did. I used the blue, the navy blue. I stamped around it so when I die cut, you have that shape, that stamp, so you can match it up to your easel very easily that way, okay? So you may end up with a little bit of extra here with the legs from the scene. No worry, you're just going to take your scissors and you cut straight across, and voila, it still matches up. I used the basket and the paintbrushes from that set as well. And that's how I finished it off. I used a stamp set from my library for that, okay? That's that. Now you may think that might be a waste of a card because you're just, using the one part. But I was able to also, even though you are cutting out from, if you're that scene, you still, let me get this up here. Cutting out from that scene, you still have a lot of area over here, and I was able to cut out another scene that way. But here, when you're doing the canoe, you can cut out the canoe, and look, you have all of this area up here, and you very well are able to get more scenery using the trees and the mountains for another scene. So you actually could get 2 cards out of that if you wanted. I just counted it as 1. So that card you have 3. So now we have 6 out of the 2 cards. And now let's go to the last card. I made 2 out of this. So that is this card here. Broken it down. This side here I kept by itself, and I put it against Mary Malo on top of craft card base. And as you can see, what I did here for the Choose the Road Less Traveled, I stamped it and then I put clear embossing powder on it and embossed it. For those that I sent this out, the kit out into, because I didn't have your pieces, I wasn't able to go ahead and do that for you. So you're just gonna need to just pick a saying from your card library and put something up there and finish it off. Put it on a label if you want or whatever. I did put wrap double the twine around. I'm not sure. I think I might have miscut the twine. So you may have to use the twine that came in the kit and double up and to make the twine. So that's that side. And the second side, I did this to it. I made a gate, I think it's called a gate fold card or a double Z fold card. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. Okay, it's like this. Now, I did attempt to cut and kind of make it so it would fold into itself, and I just wasn't able to do it. So I just left it at this, this way. So it is 5.5 by 12. So you're cutting a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock in half, and then because you're folding it, you're scoring it at 4 and 2. 4 and 2 on each side. So this is going to be 1 7/8, 1 7/8, all the way each side. And then here it's going to be 5 3/8, I believe, are my notes. I just picked out a green paper for the inside. Some of you have polka dots, some of you will have grid paper like designer series paper to put inside. This is white cardstock, and this scene right here, you might wonder what that is, and that is actually from the envelope. Trim off the two sides, and then you trim around up here, you trim around it, and then you cut it at 3 3/4. You put it over your card, your white cardstock, using tape or glue. I use tape because glue for me ripples a little too much, and just assemble everything. And then this is this maroon piece and the label actually come from the kit. That's really about the only thing you're actually taking out of kit for any of these cards, to be honest. So that leaves a lot of labels to use. You can make other cards using your envelopes, or if you had the supplementary kit, you can make many cards with that as well. So when you're folding this down, it's going to be, it's going to pop up a lot, but the more it gets held down, the more it's, held under things, it'll flatten out eventually. When you're putting it in an envelope, it definitely will. If you're worried about it, you can take some twine, wrap it around, and just kind of tie it over to the corner and keep it together that way. I put this on dimensions, but my instructions will tell you where you can use dimensions, and and then with some of the paper, the cardstock where has gone through the folders, because it's rippled, it sometimes might be easier to use your glue dots instead of the tape. The glue dots gives it a little bit more sticky, and it might keep together better and not pull apart. So you were able to get these 3 cards and make 8 out of them, and then you had 3 of each card, so you ultimately will get 24 cards. With the one card that I showed you where I made the scene, you could, like I said, you could make 2 scenes out of it and get yourself another card that would get you another 3 cards. So because I didn't have that many this time that got this kit, I sent enough supplies for you to make all 24 cards. Take advantage of it, enjoy your cards, enjoy your supply, and I will talk to you later. If there's anyone that saw this quick video and want any information, definitely message me. I'm putting everything on YouTube. My instruction sheets I will add in later. I'm just new to kind of putting videos out. When I figure out how to put in that, I will. If you go to stampinup.com and want to order any supplies, definitely look me up as a demonstrator. Sherri Borger, look me up. And Paper Pumpkin is part of Stampin' Up, but you can subscribe to it separately. You can also go through stampingup.com and get subscriptions, like a prepaid subscription, and pay for it that way. But ultimately it comes from what they call Paper Pumpkin, and it's kind of on its own. So if you do want to ever order supplies that are from retired or old Paper Pumpkins, you do need to be a current subscriber to be able to get any of that off of Stampin' Up. So if you have any questions on that, let me know that as well. I will talk to everybody later.